Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome. Damn, wrong podcast. Hey, this is Steve from the Potter Than Hell podcast. Welcome to the show. This is the Shout It Out Loudcast. But before we get going, I want to ask my guy something. BC, are you feeling low with no place to go?
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm going to scream.
Hey, BB, do you recall Days in the City?
Yeah, and I think back, oh, what a pity.
And hey, Dylan, do you feel uptight on a Saturday night?
Yeah, man, my heater's broken. I am so tired.
Well, I'm going to throw another log on the fireplace and listen to the Shout It Out Loudcast. Oh, yeah.
Steve, stand by my side, and I'll be next to you.
Oh, God. Shut the fuck up, BC.
Bam! That's right. We're back with another episode of Dorm Damage, the show where anything and everything is on the table and the table gets smashed. This week, we're going to talk about our first non-Kiss related adventure into the world of horror nerdery. Zeus, what are we talking about this time?
That fucking freak show you brought me to yesterday. What the hell was it called?
It was called the Silver Scream Con, Silver Scream Convention, a horror convention.
And it was taking place in Danvers, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Which was like an hour and something from me and about an hour from Tom, like the complete opposite direction for both of us.
That's right. That's right.
In addition to that, there was some sort of a major storm. So
oh my God.
On the way there, half of the lights, traffic lights, weren't working.
Half of them are broken.
Yeah, from the night before. So everyone's like, all right, am I going? Am I not? It was a nightmare.
That area, that North Shore area of Massachusetts got absolutely pummeled that the previous night from the severe storms that ran through here. And there was like a huge stretch of a main road that had, like Zeus said, no traffic lights. And these are like major roads. No traffic lights, no cops directed traffic. So it was literally like probably like day one of The Walking Dead. It's like, well, how the fuck am I going to get to where I need to go?
Yeah, it was quite interesting to get there.
Yeah.
So I've never been to one of these things. I will say it was a lot bigger and crazier, I guess, than, and that's in a good sense, than I ever expected. I didn't realize there were that many fucking people like into this shit as showed up to this event.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of cons before. My son, when he was younger, we went to the big Boston Comic-Con in the waterfront area of Boston. Like that's a massive one, huge. It's at like an expo center. I mean, it's a massive event. This one was much smaller. It was at a hotel in Danvers. The space was kind of jammed. You kind of felt kind of tight. But if you've ever been to a con before, it's pretty much a combination of just tables set up with vendors, artists, independent people. And then the rest of it is just celebrity guests from whatever you're into. So if it's the Comic-Con, you might get people from like Star Wars or TV or Harry Potter, pop culture. This was all people that either starred in or were involved in horror movies, horror TV shows. And the lineup was actually pretty good. I mean, one of the things, we haven't even gotten to this. One of the things that kind of pushed us to this was, I'm sure, hopefully you guys already saw the picture, but we knew that Chris Jericho was going to be there. He's a huge horror guy. He's been on some documentaries speaking. He does, if you listen to Talk as Jericho, he talks about horror all the time. So when we found out he was there, we're like, that combined with the fact that I have never been to a horror con. I'm a huge horror fan. You listen to this show. So I know that the horror community is completely like passionate and whacked out to beyond the Kiss Tard level. I mean, Zeus and I were walking around like every single person here is less cool than every single person on the Kiss cruise. Like, it's like the ultimate, like these people, like they dress up, the costumes. It's insane. So I knew what I was getting into, and I kind of braced Zeus for it. I'm like, A, have you ever been to a con before? And B, wait until you surround yourself with the horror community. I mean, the makeup, the costumes, some of these people look like they were in movies. So it was quite an event. But to me, I thought the hotel was very, very tight and crowded. They probably could have used a bigger space.
Yeah. So one thing that I would say is I'd like to compare it to like Kiss events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first thing that stood out was there was way more women there than any Kiss event.
Absolutely. Yes. No doubt.
And you had all sorts of women.
Oh, God.
You had.
Well, let's be serious. The majority.
Beautiful women, to say the least. And you had some fucking. Who is that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The costumes ranged from. See, that's the thing. When you go to a Kiss event, people are going to be dressed in the members, the 4 characters or, the 5 or 6 characters. Here, you got to keep your eyes peeled and your head on a swivel because you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, we saw guys fully decked out as Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw, a bunch of Michael Myers, some people from video games like Halo and Silent Hill, some people from
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We saw 2 young girls dressed as the twins from The Shining.
Everybody, there was a ton of women in these like bondage, fucking all tied up, bleeding, fucking neck gear shit.
Yep.
Like psychotic shit. And everyone's like all murdered and stuff. Other people carrying crazy weapons as though it's from Hostel. Like they're about to murder somebody. Insane shit.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was entertaining. I mean, I mean, for me, I loved it because I'd never been to a horror con before because usually they're pretty far away. That was the people watching. I mean, I said to Zeus, I'm like, the people watching is just alone worth the price of admission.
Yes.
And this didn't disappoint. Some of the costumes, I'm like, A, how much money did you spend on these? And B, like some of these people, I think were like professional, like cosplay people, like, cause these costumes were not, you weren't buying these at like Party City. This was like, just incredible detail with like all the gear and the makeup and the equipment. And then you walk around and you got vendors, selling memorabilia from like famous franchises. And then you have like independent artists doing like sketch work. There was some people that doing special effects makeup. You could pay to have them turn you into a zombie or like doing stuff like that. But for a small con, the guest list, I mean, if you're a horror nerd, like me, the guest list was actually kind of impressive for a small event. I mean, they had Tony Todd from Candyman. They had Skeet Ulrich from Scream. You know him. And then if you guys know anything about Shudder and The Last Drive-In, Joe Bob Briggs was there with Darcy the Mail Girl. We had the guy that directed Hatchet, Adam Green. Obviously, Jericho was there. Tom Savini, the king of special effects, was there. You had Tom Atkins we love him from those movies. A couple guys who played Jason and Michael Myers. It was.
Wait a minute. You got to get to the people that I knew. I didn't know any of those people you just
I'm getting to. That's why I just chuckled because they had Terry Kaiser, who more famously is known as the guy from Weekend at Bernie's who played Bernie and Three's Company.
I remember the Three's Company episode where he ate the hot linguine and clams.
Yeah, yep.
That's what it was.
So he was there because he was in Friday the 13th, Part 7. How bad is it that I know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're walking around. It's just like, do you know who these people are? I go, unfortunately, I know who everybody here is. But like we said, it would be the same thing if we went to like a wrestling convention. I'm like, I don't know one person. And Zeus would be like, I know that guy, that. Like, it's the same thing. So I owe Zeus a solid for coming to this with
it's
me.
All good.
But William Forsythe, who and love him from horror movies like The Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Boardwalk Empire, Out for Justice. Zeus, you want to tell people what?
All right, so I went up to him. I'm like,
Forsythe look like?
I didn't see. He didn't have like a sign how much or what to do. I'm like, this guy's a real good actor. I loved him in Boardwalk Empire. He's been in Dick Tracy with like Al Pacino and fucking Warren Beatty, and he's like schlepping it here. Like, yeah, give me $60 in cash, take a photo and get my autograph pictures. And we were going to do it just that the ATM was broken. We didn't want to walk the other like 150,000 feet away to where the other ATM probably was. But when you left originally, like, oh, I'll go to the ATM, I was talking to him.
Okay.
And I'm like, how many people go up to you and go, "Hey, Richie, why'd you do Puppy Lupo?" And he was like, "Well, they always say that stuff. Yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't realize how big it was." And I was like, "Yeah, we fucking love that. I mean, that line is hilarious." And he's like, "Yeah." And Seagal told me that my accent wasn't right. I wasn't doing the Brooklyn accent right. He goes, "I'm fucking from Brooklyn." I told him, "You don't sound right. Nobody talks the way you talk." He didn't want to fucking listen to me. And he was like doing his hand like,
"Oh, that's awesome. I missed that."
Idiot. Yeah. And, I was telling him, like, "Listen, of all the stuff, and you've been in a lot of stuff that I've seen, man, I loved you in Boardwalk Empire." Yeah. He's like, "This," and he points to the photo. He goes, "This was incredible." The actors he was with incredible actors, and he plays such a great character. I know I finally got you to start watching Boardwalk Empire.
Oh yeah. I just haven't gotten to that part yet.
Wait till his character comes in. The accent he does, his character is fucking great. Yeah. And he was super nice. And then right next to him, I'm like, "Tom, do you recognize that? Do you know who that is?" And you're like, "Yeah, she was in this movie." And I'm like, no. Oh
no, I knew what you recognized her from. So it was Judy Aronson. So for a
yeah, how do you know these?
Because I'm a dork, dude. The only thing separating me from everybody else was that I was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt. I wasn't dressed.
I had a baseball hat on, so I'm like, there's no sports memorabilia.
None.
Nobody was having anything like athletic gear on or anything like that.
No. So Judy Aronson still smoking. If you're a horror fan, she's the hot chick that goes out into the inflatable raft in the middle of the lake in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and gets stabbed from under the water. But Zeus recognized her as one of the hot chicks from Weird Science. She's one of the hot girlfriends.
She kneed him in the nuts and called him beep in front of everybody.
Yeah, she was smoking hot. But it's funny, if you've ever been to a convention before, and me and Zeus, we walked by William Forsythe a few times, because it's like, I don't know if I'm embarrassed for myself or for the person.
Yeah, like, I'm like, he's a good actor. Right. What the fuck's he doing? Yeah, give me $60 in cash. Like, what the fuck? Do you want us to get you a sub too?
Like, because I wanted to go up to the Judy one and be like, "Okay, first of all, you're still beautiful. You are hilarious in Weird Science. Your character in Final Chapter was great." But I'm just like, I know they're there, but I don't know. It was kind of like cringy. The one thing I really wanted to see was funny, because the guy didn't say a fucking word. It was the guy that played Michael Myers in Halloween 2. Dick Warlock was there. And I'm like, "Zeus, is Tony Todd from Candyman." He's like, "I don't know who that is." Like, how do you not know Tony Todd from
That's
Candyman?
Like saying I'm the actor that played Darth Vader. Dude, all you did was in the costume. Anybody could have done that.
I know.
Why are you? Oh, that's the actor.
I know, it's true. The guy had no dialogue. He did nothing but just walk.
How do I know that's you? How do I know that you were in that costume in that movie? Like, what the fuck?
But it was funny. So I got like an official event T-shirt. But as usual, what was the one thing that me and you bought at a horror convention? Kiss shit. They had a guy there selling. If you've ever seen, they like those, like, they're like man-made, like printed, like fake, like band posters.
Fake Ace.
Yeah, Fake Ace. They're probably like 12 by 18. They usually come in like a hard plastic thing, and we're flipping through them, and it was like buy two get one free. So we got a bunch of Kiss shit, because that's what we do at a fucking horror convention. We can't stay away.
Yeah, and you guys, we're like talking to ourselves. Tom and I were like, "I bet you every time he comes there, he goes, I know these Kiss nerds, these Kiss tards will come and buy this shit."
Yep. He had a stack of shit. I mean, some of the stuff was like pseudo, like you've seen the artwork before, and then some of it was kind of like, I don't know, fan made or whatever.
Yeah, or advertisements for an album.
Right.
Like they're just reprints.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? These aren't very sharp looking. And I'm like, but
oh no,
they were like fucking like 3 for $20 or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
the guy was probably making them on like his Epson printer in the fucking back room or something. But tell everybody about the whole Jericho setup.
Yeah, so we got there. Chris wasn't there yet, but he had by far the biggest line. The line went fucking, I don't know how far deep down.
Not even close, massive.
And then he shows up with his Fabio hairdo.
Oh,
and
God.
He comes and sits down. We didn't want to, it's one of those things that you don't want to, he's got other people waiting. You don't want to just sit there. But he took a break for a second, almost, and Tom made the initial "hey," and he's like, "hey."
Yeah.
So we got a quick 5-minute conversation and a quick pick with him, and it was great seeing him and stuff. I apparently I made the mistake of saying your fucking line is the biggest line here, and he's like, "Oh, how really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I actually videotaped it." And he's like, "Oh, you got a cassette of it?" What are you saying?
He loves doing that. He's like, "Oh, you videotaped it? You have a cassette recorder? Okay."
Yeah. Like, I taped it, whatever. Whatever. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And, it was great seeing him. He was in a jovial, he was happy, Chris.
Oh, yeah. We got happy Chris, but we're shooting the shit. We're talking about Kiss and obviously the convention and everything. And then all of a sudden, again, if you guys know Shudder, the horror streaming service, Darcy, the mail girl, she just came because she's friends with Chris. They've been on, I think he's been on Shudder before and she's been on his podcast, just blazing on. She just comes up and she's like, "Hi, Chris." I'm like, "Oh, Chris, we'll see you later, buddy. We'll talk to you later."
Yeah. We think we have a preference. You have a preference of who you're going to want to speak to. I guess Chris knew the owner, the guy that set this up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll come and do this." He doesn't do those often, but looking at that line and all that shit, it's a nice little cake he makes for himself doing these on the side. And for instance, I would say it wasn't even close who the biggest attraction was. It was him.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
And it was funny because we were going the line. I filmed the line. You could hear people talking Chris Jericho language. Well, they're touring on this. Or there's somebody be like, "Yeah, when he wrestled this guy or this guy. And when he did this and this, that." And it's like all different avenues. And then somebody was talking about his Kiss love. Somebody was talking about his wrestling. Somebody was talking about his music. So it was always interesting.
But you couldn't take any of these conversations you were hearing because one guy's dressed as Master Chief from Halo and some other chick is dressed as like fucking the girl that crawls out of the TV from The Ring, and they're like having
another one's got like a fucking axe splitting her fucking head wide open and a tube coming out of her neck with blood split. It's just like, what the fuck? And if anything, if you're ever going to one of these conventions, what you should do is set up a little stand and sell those, I don't know what you call them, spider legging web fucking
like the fishnet, like the mesh. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but like the spider ones. Because every other girl was wearing that shit.
Yep. But it's funny, and I said this when I've taken Michael to the big Boston Comic-Con. If you're not interested in doing the meet and greets and doing the pictures and the autographs, it's almost not worth it because you spend a lot of time standing in line. You spend a lot of time standing in line. So you're either shopping at the vendors and kind of shooting the shit and hanging out and having like something to drink. I mean, they had a bar there, obviously it's a hotel, so they had a bar and a restaurant. But other than that, you're waiting in line. Not that different than from what me and Zeus did at Creatures Fest, where we spent 17 hours waiting for Vinnie Vincent to show us his fucking tank. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Now, again, they're fun. And you do what you want. You stay there for an hour. You stay there for the friggin' weekend. I mean, it's a 3-day event. I don't know who's going to do that, but God love them if they do. But also, I know this band. I've never heard one song from them, but the band Ice Nine Kills, which apparently I've heard, I don't know, whatever. They're like a horror themed like band. Because we talked to Jericho. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to go see Ice Nine Kills after my
like, what are you
time
guys
here."
Doing? We're like, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Tom's like, and Tom's the horror guy. He's like, I ain't spending another 2 hours waiting.
I can't, these people are making me nervous. I mean, I got people dressed up as killer clowns from outer space. I'm like, fucking get away from me right now.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
The ignorance on my part, like, what? Who? What? And you were just, "Oh, that's so-and-so. That's from that and that." I'm like, holy shit.
The horror subculture is just everything has their niche, whether it's, Star Wars or comic book nerds or wrestling or Kiss. The horror subculture is the community. It's right up there with some of the most passionate things you've ever seen in your entire life. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And the only other person that I recognize, and I said it to Tom.
Oh yeah.
And I look over, I'm like, That's the chick that wanted to burn down Brandon's house from 90210. What the fuck she was doing there? I don't know. Emily Valentine was the character. It was that actress. And I was like, Tom, do you know when they did the reboot last year and they brought it back? All of a sudden, her and Andrea are like lesbians together. Like, what the fuck happened to that show? And unfortunately, it got canceled. But she was there. Remember, she had like a fucking gas fucking grill or something. Whatever she was doing, trying to burn his house down.
Yep.
And she was there. But the thing that I regret the most is I was thinking to try to get a photo with fucking Richie. And I wanted to get a bumper from him.
Oh,
saying,
I know.
Hey, this is Richie. And the reason I did Bobby Lupo was to listen to Shout It Out Loudcast. And I can't ask this guy to do, like, he's a serious actor and he's been in so, like, what am I doing? But he was really friendly and really nice.
He was really friendly. The look like, although he did look like if we gave him that cash, he was going to use it to take a bath and get a haircut. Because, I mean, the guy's like a decent looking, like movie star kind of guy. Long white hair down past his shoulders. Like
he's got a Wyatt Earp mustache now.
Yeah. But he was real cool.
Was awesome.
And that's why, like, once you kind of break the seal and you engage with these people, that's why they're there. They get excited when I bet you he got super excited that you brought up Out for Justice. Cause how many people there probably, are there to talk to him about the Rob Zombie movies and stuff, mate? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think what he really liked and he kind of lit up was when I talked to him about Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
He really he was like, he did the fucking like wave like the shit off about Seagal.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm from Brooklyn. You don't sound like you're from, hey, that dude, where you from? Remember?
Yeah.
Who's the boxer? You the boxer?
But it was a good time. It was our first foray into, something like this. So we'll keep our eye out. Peter's doing something in New Jersey, but that's New Jersey. And who knows? These events are always going around. It's nice to see some of these celebrities, from our childhood kind of coming out and just having some fun. So it was definitely a fun day, and seeing Jericho topped it off.
Till next time. Peace out, Girl Scout.